variety. There's so many varieties of sense gratification, so we have to give them up. Prajahati sarvam parthamanogata. That this is all actually a mental concoction. It's a mental concoction. Thinking that by material enjoyment we'll be satisfied. Why is it a mental concoction? First of all, because the mind is a conditioned. It's conditioned. And we're not the body. We're not the mind, and we're not the body. So it's just a mental concoction. People are just run around by the chariot of the mind. If the mind says something, they think that's them. Well, that's me. The mind says so much nonsense. And everybody's thinking, well, that's me. No. No. There's very evil thoughts. But people think, well, that's me. And then they do them. And they do stupid things. Yeah? This ridiculously stupid things. And ruin their lives. Right? So, yeah. Fortunately, we've been given knowledge which gives us direction by which we can become purified and leave this whole material existence. Get a spiritual body, pure mind. Won't that be nice? Pure mind, not a rascal mind, almost so much concoction. Admanyavat manatas tusta. One who gives up all varieties of sense gratification, which is a mental concoction, and having, what is it? When he gives up, when he gives up, what is it? When he gives up all varieties of sense gratification.
And when his mind thus situated.
When his mind, no, when his mind thus purified, finds satisfaction in self alone, he is understood to be self-situated, properly situated. Yeah. Transcendentally situated. So when the mind is purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone. See, that's the goal. Purified mind and find satisfaction in the self. In the self-serving, the supreme soul, the supreme self, Krishna. So that's the goal. Not an easy accomplishment, but possible. Prabhupada, Prabhupada gave an example of sometimes you see there's big boulders, yeah. But if you have just a soft drop going on the boulder, eventually the soft drop goes all the way through the hard boulder. Amazing. It's a good example. So similarly, this soft holy name of Krishna just continually coming down. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, breaks through this boulder-like false ego, penetrates, and then that's to our real identity, which is servant of Krishna. But just like it takes some time for that soft drop of water to go through. It takes some time to break through this false ego to our real identity, which is servant of Krishna. But patience is necessary. If you want to get something very valuable, then there has to be patience. Generally, we're not very patient in the West. But this is something that we have to learn. Patience. And eventually the purification will be there. And also we're getting so much good guidance. There's a story of a king who is a good king. The prajas, the people under him, they loved him very much. He's good. Krishna conscious, just a very nice king. But he had a son, the prince, who was arrogant. Sometimes that happens. You get a position, prince, or son of the president, arrogant. Right? He wasn't nice at all. He was actually cruel, and the people didn't like him at all in the kingdom. What to speak of the people in the palace who had to deal with him, regularly. So it's a problem. And the king was trying to correct him, but he was just, not very cooperative. So finally, he decided to bring him to a sage, to a saintly person. Maybe the saintly person can help. So he took him out to the forest, and he met this sage, and he took the sage off to some distance to speak to him privately. But I have this son, the prince. He's arrogant. He's very cruel. People don't like him. But he's going to be the heir of the kingdom. So please, maybe you can help. He said, yeah, no problem. You leave him here for 3 days. Okay. So the king said, but dear son, you spend some time with this saintly person. Okay. So the saintly person said to the prince, would you like to be loved as your father is loved so much by the people of the kingdom? Would you like to be loved by your father? So yes, I would like that. Okay. You see that tree over there? Go over there and grab a bunch of leaves from that tree and chew on them. A little surprise. Oh, all right. So he went over, he grabbed a bunch of leaves from the tree and he put them in his mouth. He's chewing, and they spit him out. He said, God, what'd you tell me to do that for? That was terrible. So bitter. This is terrible. So the sage said to the prince, he said, just as you're spitting that out, because it's so bitter, people are spitting you out because you're so bitter. Nobody likes bitter things to eat. Nobody likes bitter people. Well, you're a bitter person, and you're going to be the heir of the kingdom. But because you're so bitter, you will lose your position. You'll lose your position. So if you want to be loved by the people, you want to be loved by your father, you have to give up your bitterness. You have to give up your nasty mentality, which everybody has come to hate. And it was a good lesson. The prince said, wow, I mean, people are disliking me as much as I dislike that, what I just spit out. He said, yeah. So that was a good lesson. So he changed. He had to change of heart right there, and he took more direction from the saint, and then he went back to the kingdom. And he was a changed man. It's amazing how just a little thing can change a person's consciousness. So that's what this whole process is about. Changing our consciousness. What is the nature of this, of the material consciousness? There's lust and anger and greed and envy and illusion. So we're trying to change all that. Get all this bitterness. It's not nice. All these things, not nice. But there's the pure consciousness. There's the 26 qualities of a devotee. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains the qualities of the Brahmana. Samodhamastapashotam, Shantir Arjuna Jnana Vijnanavashkam, Brahma Karma Sabhavata. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, religiousness. These are the qualities of Mr. Brahma's birth. And this is what Prabhupada came to create. Brahmanas. This is what's needed in society. To give up all these other. It's like there's one devotee, he said, we have to die before we die. In other words, material consciousness has to die before we give up this body. So this material consciousness has to be replaced with Krishna consciousness, with this divine process of Krishna consciousness. And it's simply by hearing we get purified. Therefore hearing is so important. Hearing is so important. There's the golden rule of the Hare Krishna. Anybody know what the golden rule is? Smartavya sadatang Vishnu or Vishmartavya najatuchit. Always remember Krishna and never forget him. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing everything we're doing, so that we remember Krishna and not forget him. And the mind, we have these different senses, but the mind is above them all, because all the other senses are run by the mind. The tongue, we chant. Chanting is very important, and we hear. Hearing is, but everything is up there in the mind. So we have to hear very nicely, and then remembrance will come, just like we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And the result of this 16 rounds is that it creates a momentum, right? And throughout the day, the mantra comes. It's nice. Yeah, it's very nice. And I was just listening to a lecture Prabhupada said, devotees of the Lord, they could chant the holy name 24 hours. But if we chant Mr. John, Mr. John, Mr. John, we'll be tired. A very short time. But the Hare Krishna mantra, it's such a nice mantra. It's a prayer. We're praying for Krishna. We're praying to Krishna for service. This is the nature of the soul, the service. So to serve Krishna, this is the highest. Most people, they just want to serve their senses. Kamarinam katina katita palita dorideshas. For so long I've been the humble menial servant of many bad masters. Lust, anger, greed, envy, illusion. They've never shown mercy to me. I've never gotten any benefit from them. I've never been ashamed of serving them. But now, my Lord, you've given me transcendental intelligence. I no longer want to serve these bad masters. Now I just want to serve you. I was reading in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita is something very interesting. Everybody is into sense gratification in the material world, right? So I read this yesterday. This is pretty amazing. Prabhupada says, the Mayavadis consider this to be zero and impersonal. But that is not the case. Well, I'll start with the paragraph. In reference to the words aprakita, navina, madana, aprakita refers to that which is the very opposite of the material conception. The Mayavadis consider this to be zero or impersonal, but that is not the case. Now it becomes very interesting. Everything in the material world is dull. It's dead matter. Even this body, it's dead. But because we're in the body, it appears to be alive. But it's actually dead. And as soon as the soul leaves the body, then you see the real nature of the soul. Like if I were to leave this body right now, what would happen to the body?
Slump over.
It would slump over.
Decompose.
Lifeless. It would decompose. Yeah. So the body is actually dull. But people become attached to other dull bodies. You can imagine the result, this dullness, right? It's very interesting purport here. Everything in the material world is dull, but in the spiritual world, everything is alive. Everything is alive. Another purport, Prabhupada says, everything can see, everything moves, everything talks, everything. So I remember when we were children, we used to see the movies, the houses would move and talk, and, or not movies, but cartoons, right? So where'd they get that from? Everything can talk, everything can see, everything can move, everything is alive. Amazing, huh? And everything is Krishna conscious. The desire for enjoyment is present both in Krishna and in his parts and parcels, the living entities. In the spiritual world, such desires are also spiritual. No one should mistakenly consider such desires to be material. In the material world, if one is sexually inclined and enjoys sex life, he enjoys something temporary. His enjoyment vanishes after a few minutes. However, in the spiritual world, the same enjoyment may be there, but it never vanishes. It's an amazing statement by Prabhupada. It is continuously enjoyed. It's like man is this wild after that sex pleasure, but it's just a few minutes. Here, Prabhupada's saying, it's continuous, but it's not material. Like here, it's just, kind of disgusting, In the spiritual world, such sex pleasure appears to the enjoyer to be more and more relishable with each new feature. In the material world, however, sex enjoyment becomes distasteful after a few minutes only, and it is never permanent, because Krishna appears very much sexually inclined. He is called the new Cupid in the spiritual world. There is no material inebriety in such desire, however. Pure sex. Inconceivable, right? I thought that would be interesting to let devotees know that the real sense enjoyment is in the spiritual world, but it's pure. They're thinking of Krishna. Even it's said that there's girlfriend and boyfriends, but Krishna's in the middle. Just like here, we have nice household families, like Vaisheshika Maharaj and Nirakula, a nice family. But Krishna's in the center, so therefore it's glorious. Such elevated souls. So there's pure relationships in the spiritual world. Krishna's in the center. So as long as Krishna's in the center, then everything's wonderful. But we take Krishna out of the center. We want to be the center. This is the problem. And that's the material world. Everybody wants to be the enjoyer, the proprietor, the center. So we're trying to remove that mentality and put Krishna in the center. After all, he is God. He should be the center. And after all, we're not God. We're little specks, little jivas. Materially, we don't even exist. We don't even exist materially. We think we do. We think we're this mind, but we don't even exist materially at all. But spiritually, we exist in a very big way. We're the sons of God. That's big. Right? To be the sons of God. That's a big position. Just like if someone is the son of the President of the United States, I think it's so much respect. And, but that's nothing. Especially nowadays, with the present situation. But to be the son of God, wow. So Krishna, he's the best father. Like I had a father, but I was so disappointed. And many people are disappointed with their father, isn't it? But not with Krishna. Krishna's the best father. He's the best person. Yomam evama sammodo janati purusotam sasara vibhajantim sarva bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of God without doubting, he is a knower of everything and therefore engages in my devotional service. Sometimes devotees would say, well, Prabhupada's a pure devotee. Does he know everything? People think like, what did Prabhupada say? Prabhupada said, I know everything that Krishna wants me to know. It's not that I'm omniscient, I know everything. I know everything Krishna wants me to know. That's a lot. Yeah. So, yeah. Such a nice process and a nice journey, even though we're not pure devotees. Even in the practice of Krishna consciousness, it's nice. Yeah. Nice prasadam, nice association. And Prabhu one time said, if anybody can give us a better philosophy, we'll take it. Give us something better. The Bhagavad Gita is just, it's so nice. You know, Krishna so kindly left us the Bhagavad Gita. And sometimes people say, well, Arjuna is so fortunate because Krishna personally spoke to him. Prabhupada said, no. Just reading Bhagavad Gita is no different than Krishna standing right in front of you speaking Bhagavad Gita. It's no different. And therefore we see all over the world people are benefiting from reading Bhagavad Gita. I travel a lot, and what I would quite often do is I would ask devotees how they join. And it's amazing. Maybe 60 or 70% join because they're reading Bhagavad Gita. It's not an easy read. You know? A lot of people get stuck. But so many, if they read it all the way through, that's what happened to me. I read the Bhagavad Gita and said, wow, this is it, man. This is the highest truth. You know, Krishna's words are very powerful. And then we have also the Srimad Bhagavatam, the spotless Purana. So we have so much knowledge by which we can be inspired to engage in devotional service. This is the goal. To get free of serving our mind and senses, and to serve the senses, to serve the senses of Krishna. Sarvapariva nirmuktam tatprayana nirmrisikena risikesa sevanam bhakti ushate. Devotional service means to engage our senses in the service of the master of the senses. And there's two nice benefits, nice results of that. Our senses get purified. That's the first one. Our senses get purified. And we become free of designations. Those are two nice advantages. Our senses get purified. In other words, we just want to engage our senses, whatever sense we have, in pleasing the senses of Krishna. We only want to hear about Krishna. We only want to speak about Krishna. We only want to smell things that have been offered to Krishna. Yeah. We want to engage our hands in the service of Krishna. And we get free of designations. So many designations. We're American, I'm a male, I'm Chinese or Russian. These are all temporary designations that have nothing to do with us. We weren't Americans 100 years ago. Who knows what we were, what our designation was 100 years ago. Now we have this designation, and another 50 years or whatever, 100 years, we're not going to have these designations. Hopefully we'll have the designation Das, Anudas, servant of Krishna in the spiritual world, servant of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. So this is the goal. Is there any question, comment, or reflection? Yes.
I really liked, you said materially we don't exist. It's just like a concoction of the mind's identity and everything that the world kind of trains us to believe we are. But spiritually we're very big.
Yeah. It's interesting. Huh? Who would have thought that such a way before getting Prabhupada's books. Materially, we don't even exist. Because we were thinking we're matter. What do you mean we don't exist materially? You're saying I don't exist? No, we exist. But spiritually. Eternally. Yes.
What is life? What is the life air?
What is the life air? Well, there's described that there's five life airs surrounding the soul. The soul actually doesn't touch matter, just these life airs. It's mentioned. I think there are mentions of the different life airs.
It's like prana, upana.
Yeah, there's a 5, right?
Samana.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Different
It's
life
basically
airs.
the same kind of energy, but that's kind of describing how it's moving in the body, the different types of it.
Hmm.
But I think it's all kind of the same. I've heard Prabhupada say that it moves in the blood, like also like the center is kind of like the heart,
Mm.
and moves through the blood.
It's 5, I mean, it says pran, apan, saman, udan, vyan.
5.
Yeah.
There's
Five
like
different
one
areas.
type is like what helps us blink,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Interesting.
Okay. Thank you very much.
But is
Sheila
that
Prabhu?
a spiritual? Is it a spiritual thing?
What's that?
Is the life air spiritual?
Is the life air spirit? Well, they're airs. So, we have air here. It's just material.
Material.
Yes. In the spiritual world, there's no life air surrounding the spiritual body. Yeah. Sheila